Hey, tell me more about Cybertron.
What would you like to know?
For one thing, why do you transform into cars and things?
Simple. Disguise. Besides, it sure beats walking. Uh-oh. I think we got company.
Can't you go any faster, Trailbreaker?
Sorry, this is it. I'm not built for speed.
Hello, this is Fu Manchu, and I've been a fan of the Transformers since they first debuted in 1984. And over the years, I bought a lot of them, or traded for them. You know how we were as kids. But honestly, that collection was pretty big. But sadly, I don't have it anymore because I sold it one year to buy my wife a widescreen TV for Christmas. And honestly, I got a really good deal, and she got a really nice TV. And you know, it's kind of for the best too, because over the years, they've actually put out better versions of Transformers, like Masterpiece Transformers, because those things are made in scale. They look more like they did in the cartoon, which is how I associated the characters to begin with. And man, those are really cool. Plus, there's like third-party figures out there that are made in Masterpiece scale that make some of the characters that the Masterpiece line didn't even make yet. And you know what? They are awesome. Now, I remember the very first Transformer I ever got was Jazz, and he came with something that all the larger Transformers came with, a little catalog that had all of the Transformers that were available at that time. And one of the things that I wanted, ever since the Masterpiece figures started, really booming, and then the third-party ones were making all the others, I thought, man, one of the things I'd really like to have is to rebuild my Transformers collection, but with Masterpiece scaled Transformers and get all of the ones that were in that original catalog, just the first catalog that came out. And there's a lot of Transformers in that catalog, believe me. And I've got a lot of them already, but there's a few that I'm missing. And you know what? Today, I add one to that collection. So let's go check it out, shall we? Today's review will be on the X-Transbot Defensive Strategist, Aegis, otherwise known as
Trailbreaker!
While we're talking about names, let's talk about this name here, Aegis. Now, everyone who does a review on this pretty much pronounce it Aegis. And, makes him sound like he's really old, but Aegis means protection. And if you think about how Trailbreaker has a force field projector,
let's try a little force field to interrupt his override waves.
Yeah, I think that's why they picked this name for him. Now, this isn't the first release of this figure. This is actually the one that's more cartoon accurate with its colors and stuff like that, and I absolutely love this box art. The right side of the box has that artwork yet again, but this time smaller, and below that we have a quote written all in silver that says, "Be not afraid of going slow, be afraid only of standing still." And below that, what appears to be a grid drawing looking down on his truck mode where you can see like the engine and everything inside. That is pretty cool. Looking at the left side of the box, and we just have that quote written really big and sideways, but it's what's on the back of the box that fans will really like. Because any old school Transformer fan will truly appreciate just how much work X-Transbots puts into their box art. This is absolutely awesome and really does harken back to the G1 boxes. This is so cool. You got that outer space battle there at the top with Springer fighting Motor Master and the Stunticons around them and a bunch of other bots in the background. Down below that, you've got Aegis's tech spec, and that is so cool, man. It really does look like Trailbreaker's card from a long time ago. I mean, you could cut this out and put it with your Transformer tech specs, and it would blend in perfectly. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I had a huge G1 Transformers collection, and when I sold it, Trailbreaker was one of the ones that went with it, and man, I am so happy to finally add him back into my collection. And this time, in Masterpiece scale, and more cartoon accurate than he's ever been. So I say we waste no more time, and I say we open it!
The Transformers will return after these messages.
I'm a teenage girl. My BFF Becky texts and says she's kissed Johnny. Well, that's a problem, because I like Johnny. Now, I'm emotionally compromised and whoopsies. I'm all, OMG, Becky's not even hot. And if you've got cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate.
We now return to the Transformers.
After opening the box, Aegis himself is in this little plastic clam tray, or maybe that's his force field projector and it's protecting him right now. As for his accessories, they came packaged separately in this little plastic bag, and man, just looking at them through the baggie here, I love that there's so many scene-specific items, and there's extra faces and a vintage G1 head. Also packaged separately in its own little baggie is the instruction booklet and this plastic card, and I love these X-Transbots cards. So, here's Aegis fresh out of the package, and I haven't even transformed him yet, and I'm already 100% happy with this figure. He is G1 Trailbreaker through and through. Plus, since this is the animation colored version of this figure, it looks like he jumped right out of the cartoon just with more details. Now, as you can see there, he's got some chrome for his rims, and then down here on the front end, he's got a lot of chrome. I love that he's got little details like turbo 4-wheel drive written on there. You can see the little hole where his rearview mirrors go. They even painted like where the key goes in the door. That is amazing. Yeah, this looks so good. And like I've said in other reviews, holding this figure in your hand, it feels like what you had when you were younger. You know, with the very first Trailbreaker figure. This feels like what you thought you had. This is absolutely awesome. Look at all the details just on the front end of the car alone. The shiny chrome, the headlights. That is so awesome. Plus you can make out the word turbo right there. That is so cool. Another detail that I absolutely love are these stripes and the fact that they're painted on and it's not a sticker. That is awesome. And that's something that needs to be on every Trailbreaker figure. I'm sure you already noticed, but all the windows are tinted light blue, and that's to match the animation as well. And because they're such a light color, you can actually see some of the robot parts inside of the cab of the car. And I think it's so funny that Trailbreaker's head is actually visible and you can see his eyes, so I guess that's how he was looking out of the window when he said,
Look, Dad, no hands.
Big deal. I'm driving.
Looking at Aegis from behind here, and it's a little bit more plainer than the rest of the car, like the taillights are just painted on and stuff like that, and can't really, put anything inside of the car because he's all folded up inside there. But you know what? I'm not going to complain because this looks amazing. Now, if a Decepticon were lucky enough to knock him off his wheels, this is what they'd see. And honestly, you don't really see many robot parts underneath there. You do see his gun and his little force field projector, but that's pretty cool that they store underneath there. Now, if I had one small complaint about this figure, it'd be the fact that there is no Autobot symbol on his hood. But you know what? That's what these are for. Like I said, I am 100% happy with this figure already. He looks so good in truck mode. This is Trailbreaker, and it makes me so happy. And man, if the truck is this good, I cannot wait to see what he looks like in robot mode. So let's transform him. So here's Trailbreaker fully transformed, and I'm not gonna lie, that was a nightmare. Seriously, this thing is hard to transform. There's a lot of fiddly bits, really tight pieces, brittle bits. Oh, just be very careful when you transform it, but there's no denying that once you get him transformed, this is G1 Trailbreaker. He looks amazing. Look at that head. He's got metallic blue eyes. He's got his little force field thing up there, his gun. I love how he's got the blue windshields, but I wish that they were a little darker because you can see kind of through them. I threw an Autobot symbol on there. I hope it's straight. Down here, he's got these metal parts on his legs. The red parts are metal. Almost looks like Psykill's legs or something like that. Man, that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a nightmare down here. When you're transforming his legs, it is really hard. And when you get through all that, then you got to transform basically his torso up here where it all snaps together. And you talk about hard. This thing is hard to do. And seriously, I'm just glad I got through it, and I'm never transforming him again. He's staying in robot mode because this is the way I wanted him to be. And you know what? I'm happy with him. But man, he was hard to transform. But just look at that. He looks so good. There's that face there, and he actually came with 3 face plates. He came with a normal face, a happy face, and a shouting face. And they certainly didn't have to do it, but as an extra added bonus, you also get a G1 head, and that is awesome! And just looking at those heads side by side, you can see how the G1 toy did not resemble Trailbreaker from the cartoon at all. And anyone out there who really liked the G1 look, well, they can have that with this figure in Masterpiece scale, and that is awesome. Another accessory he includes is a little energy beam that goes on his force field projector. And with that attached, you get the effect that he's using his force field. He also includes these extra optional wrist attachments. Now in the case of this one over here, he came with 2 of them. Now I've already removed his left hand and replaced it with a barrel like this. Now, in the case of this one, you do have to remove the hand. It slides off of like a peg, and then you have to slide this over the peg. Now, I thought for sure it would attach to one of these square things, and it would be like the hand would be transformed inside of the wrist. But no, you got to take the hand off entirely. And as you can see, it's got a little transformable feature there on the gun. So you can leave this on there instead of the hand, and it transforms too. Now, in the case of this one over here, this is his force shield from, what was it, episode 2 of Transformers, when he used it on the fire. And it basically goes together just like that. Last up for his accessories, he includes this radar dish that you can attach to him in truck mode so he can spy on the Decepticons. And while he's spying on the Decepticons, well, Spike and Sparkplug really need some place to rest and drink some coffee or tea or whatever they're drinking. And you've got a little rock and a stump and everything for them, and that is awesome. I love it when they include stuff like this, very scene specific. And you know what? It's things like this you think, I didn't know I needed that, but I needed that. So, final thoughts. What do I think about X-Transbots Aegis? Well, frustratingly complicated transformation aside, I absolutely love this figure. Not only do I love the character of Trailbreaker, but man, this is an absolute masterpiece of a Transformer of Trailbreaker. This looks amazing. He's huge. This toy is super heavy too, man. I mean, the only metal I know about is right there at his knees, but this is one heavy figure if I haven't said so already, and man, he looks so good. You get all those head options, you get all the extra pieces and stuff that you could swap on and off of him. He looks absolutely amazing. That truck mode looks so good. Now, unfortunately, I'll never see it again because there's no way I'm transforming this guy again because he does feel very fragile in parts, and it's very frustrating to get him to go together. But honestly, there's no denying that this is just the best, Trailbreaker I've ever seen, and he looks so good. And you know what? I absolutely love him. So, there's my review of the X-Transbots G1 Animation Color of Aegis, otherwise known as Trailbreaker, and this figure is amazing. Yes, the transformation will make you want to kill yourself, but if you survive, this figure is totally worth it. He is awesome, and I'm so close, so bloody close to having a masterpiece or masterpiece style version of almost every character in that original Transformer brochure. Oh, I cannot wait to finish it. So until next time, tune in for more Foo Reviews!
Spike here wants to know how we transform, Hound.
Easy, like this.
Hey, this is Nolan North. You don't want to miss Foo Reviews. And I'm out.